And good morning, everyone, and we are back at it. Got deterred by the rain last night and couldn't finish the job. Once I got the driver's side on, it just started raining and it was getting late, and I said we'll go ahead and take care of it in the morning on the passenger side, the right side. One thing I want to note here is I actually had these things backwards. I thought the gusset was on the bottom and not on the top, but the gusset's actually on the top. And because I have a set of trail gear as well, and on the trail gear the gusset's on the bottom, and so I assumed that's the way it was for these as well, but it is not. And so earlier in the videos you're going to see the left on the right, the wrong slider over there on the driver's side. I did obviously fix it and straighten it out because I have the correct one on, but earlier, as you see any of the still photography or the explanations of what I'm getting ready to do I had the wrong slider over on there. It's kind of funny. So this is actually how it looks before it gets put onto the vehicle. So this is the right orientation, and it's gusset up. And like I said, the fitment was spot on the driver's side. The left side of the vehicle is really, really nice fitment, and everything lined up really well. On the brake cable clamps here that retain your e-brake cable, I did have to use one of the ARP fasteners in this location here because the provided Toyota bolt here, it's too short. I can't hardly catch a thread with it, so I couldn't use it. In this backspace here, I was able to use the original Toyota bolt for that and retain it, but I did have to replace the retaining bolt for the one that's further up. So not a big deal, and luckily I have, these come in 5-packs, so I did have a few, an extra. And I'm pretty sure I have 2 extras, and I can go ahead and use the same fastener, so everything looks the same. And you can see all the placements here for the amount of fasteners. It's like 11 fasteners per side that holds this thing together, which is really good. It's not going anywhere. And you got a full plate to mount up against the frame rail. Very secure. These things, if you get T-boned on the street, you're going through an intersection, some unfortunate thing happens and you get whaled from the side, these are definitely going to protect you. These are an amazing vehicle for safety. They're tanks. And then when you add something like this to it, these rock sliders, these are drawn over mandrel steel, and they're heavy gauge, and they're no joke. So if you get hit by something, this is going to really protect you. It's going to protect the vehicle. All right, let's go ahead and get started getting it put in. All right, I'm working alone here, so putting these things up into place by yourself is possible, but it is difficult. So you have to take your time. I have a set of jack stands set up here, and that's really the best way, with some padding on it here to protect them from getting scratched up. And then I'm putting the fasteners in without any anti-seize right now. I'm only putting them in a few turns. So I've been, this is difficult to do. I don't have the tripod thing. I really need to get another one of those because I lost mine. But anyway, if I lift up on this enough, I can easily screw this in, which I've already done. And it's enough to keep the slider in place now. Now I can work. And what I'll do is I'll start taking the fasteners now and putting the anti-seize on them and putting them into places that these, support fasteners are in to keep this thing lined up and in place without falling on me. Because you know how it is with anti-seize, you start fumbling around with that and you're just going to make a big mess. This way, there's no mess, everything's secure, you're in good place, you don't have to worry about the slider falling on you, and it works. So I'm going to go and start slathering, yeah, there you go, slathering with some anti-seize here, and put the rest of the fasteners into place. And then after that, I'll take these back out, put their anti-seize on them, and put them back into place. Then we'll start tightening everything up. Moving along pretty good here. Getting ready to put this one in next. And let's see. I can't do it that way for you have a better visual, but yeah, let me try it. Yeah, see the back of my hand. That's fun. Anyway, that one's going in. Now I'll go ahead and I'll take this one back out. I'm going to use my knee to kind of give it a little influence here. And oh, there we go. And now I got this one back out, and now I'll go ahead and put the anti-seize on it, and then put it back in the hole. There we go. Oh, little dab it to you. Now you can see it has dropped quite a bit. But all I gotta do is use my knee here. I took the jack stands out, and so I'll just use my knee a little bit, and I'll push it back up, and I'll line it, and get it started. It's kind of like tapping your head and rubbing your belly. Kind of funny. Yeah, let me see. I'll find a place I can pull on it a little bit. There you go. That's what I need to do. Give it a little pull. There it is. Perfect. So it's just a little bit of manipulation using your leg and your foot, and you know, when you're working by yourself. And what I'm going to do is I'll raise this up and get it nice and level with the base of the frame, and I'll secure these fasteners for final securement. Also, those little plastic caps that are inside this frame all the way down the line, I did not have to remove them after all. Once you get this thing buttoned up, it lays flat up against that frame because the welds, things like this, everything kind of evens out. All right, let me go ahead and finish this up, get these things torqued into place, and that'll do it. I actually, and another thing I wanted to note too is I used the larger washer from the Westcott kit, their hardware kit. The reason why is because you can see the width of that slotted hole here, and the bolt and the washer provided by ARP does span that, but just by barely. So I really wanted to have a little larger footprint on there, so I went and used their washer. And it's a great 10.9 washer. There's nothing wrong with it because the torque load on these are pretty minimal. It's like about maybe 20 foot-pounds or 25 foot-pounds. That's all it is. So this washer is substantial enough for that. It's not going to go anywhere. I just choose to use ARP because I know it's stronger. Stainless steel is not going to rust. Aesthetically, if you look under the vehicle, it's going to look nice. This is a road vehicle. It's not an off-road vehicle, so I do like to make things look a little nice. So if somebody wants to peek underneath of it, see if this is a rust bucket or not, they're going to go underneath and go, ooh, that's nice. So that's kind of why I went ARP. It just it looks good. All right, let me get it all torqued down and finish up the video. They look really good. They fit the truck really nice. I went and I changed out the brake line hardware on the other side to match this side, so everything is now ARP. Really good. Great fitment. I wasn't planning on really doing a product review necessarily. I like Westcott Designs. They definitely make a nice product. They do nice work in design. The stuff that they presented at SEMA was unbelievable, and they really do know what they're doing. And I can tell you there's a few things I would like better about these if they were, you know, a little bit more tuned to my liking. One of the things is they're advertised as a slider step. They have a 20 degree, which has a tilt up, looks really badass, but they're not a step. So I went with these, which is a 0 degree, and they're kind of, put out there as a step. Problem is, at first I did use it as a step, and it works, it works pretty okay. It's not bad. You get your foot on there, and you get back in, out or in. Yeah, there we go. But when you get out, you really don't have a step. Your heel does, but your toe, it's lost. For that, I'd say this is really, if you're looking for a step slider, this is not your deal. If they just went out, I would say another inch or so. Just brought this bar here a little further out to the rocker. It would still do its job in protecting the rocker, and that would bring this bar out. So basically extending the lower tubes here, maybe an inch and a half to bring this slider out. It would have been ideal for a step. It would have been perfect. My trail gear sliders that I have with the Mickey Mouse heads on them, that we did in stainless steel, they're a step. They come out, they stick out far, and they're out about as far as the kick out is on this. So the kick out's definitely worth using as a step. But the front slider section of this is not. It's just not there. So like, if you want to get into this truck, the back door, I gotta really clean this thing up. You can get in, and then like, for you to get out, you got a whole foot here, no problem. You can get out. It's a step. Stand on the rails here, and you're out. But if you twist around, your toe is going to get caught up underneath that rocker, so it's not ideal as a step. If they just brought them out just a little bit further, they would be absolutely perfect. Next thing, fitment was great. All the hardware lined up really nice. Really can't say a bad thing about it. But for the emergency brake lines, that's a pain in the butt. These gussets, or this gusset right here, let me see if I can get this on film here, or I'm old when I say film. You can see that how that line is on top of that gusset there, and it's stretched pretty hard. If they had notched that gusset there to help with relieving the pressure on that brake line, that would be ideal. That's really what needs to be done. I'm going to get a piece of brake line hose, or some type of vacuum hose. I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to put it up behind that, because I know that's going to be a rub issue. It could wear the sheath of that emergency brake cable, and that's going to be a problem. And so to avoid that, I'm going to put something underneath of it as sacrificial to that situation. I can pull up on the cable just enough to slip in a piece of rubber. In hindsight, I probably should have taken these things and put them on while they were still raw before I powder coated them, because I would have modified them at that point. I would have notched the that area there in that gusset. I would have notched that for that brake line for sure, and I would have also cut these things up, and I would have extended them out. They look great. They fit the truck nice. In contrast, everything flows really well. Can't say anything bad like that. Aesthetically, they look great. But functionality is a little bit lacking. Like I said, as a step, it's just not going to function well, because your foot's going to go up underneath there. There's not a lot of room underneath there to begin with, so it's going to suck trying to use it as a step, and that was really what I was looking for. I'm going to do, because I haven't put that seat in yet, that will match that seat, the WRX seat, and everything's ready to go. I was just waiting to put these sliders into place. Like I said, I would notch that last gusset, to accommodate the brake line better, so that, because I tell you, it is difficult to get the bolts to, you know, start on those two locations for the brake line. There's two different brackets that hold your brake line in place, so getting them started is not easy. This is one of them right here, and of course the one is further down the line, you can see there. And that's another reason why I changed the hardware, because it made it, you know, with longer hardware I was able to locate the hole a little easier, but still it was a real pain in the butt, because the cable has so much tension on it going over the top of that gusset, and just a little relief in that gusset would make all the difference in the world. Other than that, great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for viewing. Leave comments, suggestions, all that good stuff, I guess. Shout out to Westcott Design again. Beautiful product. Really, 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 really nice. And they look amazing. And I am definitely happy with them. I'm just going to have to extend that like surface area there some, so I can use that as an actual step. All right. See ya.